Three, two, one. Let's go. Okay, we're back with another little speed match, little condensed go game. So let's just get into it. This one's nice and quick. I'm playing as white 9k up against black 14k, and we're talking entrapment. We're talking pushback. A little pushback, a little entrapment. And you'll see why. Let's get into it. We each take a corner to kick off the match. No big deal. I start protecting that upper left-hand corner. And this, I don't know what black's doing here. You know, they played 5 moves in a row along here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But he's not capturing any territory, pardon me, by doing that. He's getting a nice solid line, but he's got nothing to play it off over here. He needs another line over here to capture the space in between. So by doing this and having me just respond and carry along, I don't have to do that because I have this wall back here, right? I have the edge of the board, so I am capturing this territory while he is not. So poor play by my opponent right off the bat. Oh, and then a nice little jump there. I like that. He responds up at the lower left. Okay, so there we go. He starts to respond over here, and this is exactly what I was just talking about. You need a second wall to balance out this wall to capture that space in between. Looks like I recognize that. I don't want him to get all this upper territory, right? That's kind of what he's positioning to do with this wall. Another one here, another one here. Like, if he played 2 or 3 more moves, another one maybe here, something like that, then all of a sudden a lot of that space, a lot of this space would start to become his. And I don't want to do that. So I jump in, put some pressure on that 3-4 stone of his up in the upper right-hand corner. Black responds. That's a nice play. I like what he did there because it does 2 things at once. He's putting pressure on this stone. He's kind of exerting a little bit of force this way, right? And he's also, like I said before, he's building up a wall to counterbalance this wall. So he's got these 2, you know, with another play up here or something here, all of a sudden he's going to capture that. He's going to have a nice little strong bit of territory. I ignore his last play and start focusing on that upper right-hand stone. We come out left. This is kind of funny. Black's following me again here. This is a very similar situation to the left-hand side of the board where we kind of went in tandem in a line, and now the same thing's happening over here. And again, the same situation. I'm getting this space up here, right? Like, that's basically captured now. And again, he doesn't have anything to counterbalance this wall. He needs something over here to get the space in between. And I can see sort of what he's doing. He's trying to connect up to this group and make this one big group, but he's got nothing. He's not capturing any territory below this line of his stones when he's playing this. And it's giving me a chance because he's so loose. You know, none of these stones are really connected that well. It's giving me a chance to attack that upper part of the board. Look at this. All of a sudden I'm just extending Mr. Extendo up at the upper portion of the board. Look at that. That's all mine now. Maybe he can force his way up here in the corner a little bit. But I just stole so much of his territory. If we take a snapshot in right now, we're only 36 moves into the game. My territory is something like this, a nice big chunk in the upper left, and at least a chunk here up at the top. Black doesn't really have any territory. He's got maybe some space in here that's kind of sandwiched, but I can still kind of sneak around that way. He's got a little bit of space down here. This just looks so unbalanced already, 36 moves into the game. Let's check the score. Oops, estimated score. White only by 3.1. That's surprising. I think it's just too loose for the computer to really call it right now. But, whoops, we don't want to jump that far ahead. Back to the board. We wanted to go back to move 36. Pick up sticks. Bear with me. There we go. 36, 37. There we go. All right, so we're attacking that upper portion of the board. Extending up on the right. I like that play of mine. We're saying it's a pretty big jump to go that far, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. Because really there is room if he really wants to. He could jump in there, but probably won't. Anyway, he's attacking the upper portion of the board. Sure. Looks like he's going to maybe get some of that back. Sure enough, it looks like black, he's going to kill off this group of mine here, but he wins a bit more of that corner. But that's okay because I took this whole chunk at the top. Mine's twice as big, so I'm okay with that. And also now I've built up this right-hand side, so I got 1 line, 2 line, 3 lines, and if I can capture the space in between all those, that's a nice little bit of territory too. And that's kind of what's happening. Oh, black gets aggressive with a jump in there. He's in behind enemy territory, right? He's in. I don't know. I might be able to kill that group off. But notice how a lot of this game it's been pushing. Black's extending this way, and I'm trying to push him out, right? I'm kind of exerting force out. Same thing over here. Black's got this line, and I've been trying to kind of push him out because I want to capture the outside territory. It's the easiest to capture, and it is what it is. So keep an eye on that. That's the pushing part of this game. Anyway, black jumps in behind enemy territory, aggressive. I'm not really in trouble there. Just play that out a little bit to see what happens. So again, I'm kind of, he's in here and I'm pushing him out. I'm trying to push him out away from the edge of the board. I'm trying to get him to kind of roll out, and in doing so, whoops, back it up. In doing so, I'm getting the portion of the board closest to the edge, right? I'm getting that edge of the board. Trying to push him out. All right, we attacked the lower right-hand corner. Yeah, we're just kind of, there's a good example of a push, right? Instead of just letting him come straight out, I'm pushing him up. I'm trying to keep his footprint small. That's what I mean by pushing, right? Like you're always trying to wrap around the edges a little bit. If he's got a group of stones and is extending straight, you're trying to curl around that edge and push him back a little bit, because one, you get an extra spot as opposed to being here. You get an extra space, but you're kind of cutting him off. You're just trying to get him to bend that corner. It's a bunch of little micro moves. I don't know if that makes any sense at all. Let's just play it out. What do we got here? All right, a couple open moves. One looks like one last big move left, probably down around here, J3-ish. Black's done a nice job of taking that lower corner now on the left. Kudos. There we go. Look at that. J3, very next move. The last big move of the game, aside from the middle of the board, which is still pretty open. Okay, down to the bottom, a little bit of pressure. I like this. This is a nice, because we don't want black to get he's setting up for a nice little group in the middle there, right? But he's got this gap here that he's trying to bridge. Don't want him to do that. So with that last move, I'm playing in and saying, hey, I want to be able to mess up your gameplay there in the middle. Steal some space for myself. Black responds there a little bit. I shut him out of the bottom, so that's nice and secure now, right? Like that is all tied up. But I still have my little in, right, to sneak in there and wreak havoc in the middle of the board. All right, so we're extending over there on the left. Again, black is aggressive, kind of jumping in behind enemy lines. I pretty much seal him up. I think I'm going to take that kill, actually. Either way, he plays there, he's dead. He plays there, he's dead. So that stone is toast, right? No big deal. A couple little forcing moves. Now we're over on the right-hand side of the board. I like that play. This last one, M10. That's a great move because I have one wall loosely up here. Just jog out there, right? And same kind of situation. I have another wall coming out here. And look at that extension I just got with that play. Came out a couple lines. I'm putting some pressure on this stone, which is a little bit off on its own. And my guy can fall back on this group, on this guy, on this guy. So he's got support, but it still gives me that in to sneak out to the left and capture some territory in the middle there. And again, putting pressure on this group. If you look here, just take a little quick snapshot. Look at this group, this black group. It's looking okay, but it's not solid. He's got at least an eye in here, but I can probably play in there to kill one off if he tries to go for two. So this group is not super solid. It looks like he can probably sneak out this way, but there's certainly some cutting points in here, right, that I can exploit. So keep an eye on that. Again, another little jump, and I like that because I'm saying I can come out, I can cut this way, I can cut this way, I give myself a little bit of an extension to maybe cut this group off. Like, now you can see how this group all of a sudden could be totally cut off from the rest of the board, right? If we sever that connection between those two and that one, all of a sudden, this group is in some trouble. He doesn't want me to jump through. I say, sure, whatever. Focus is down over on the left-hand side, left-hand corner. Okay, we're sealing some things up at the bottom now. Black ignores. Interesting. I think this is where black screwed up. Well, maybe not, actually. Because he's got to connect this. No, this group's going to be safe because he can go up. He can connect here. You know, he's got lots of connections. But we were just talking about severing this group, right? I'll just redraw that a little bit cleaner. You can kind of see that's the outline of the black. He has to connect now to this group of 4 so that he can connect back over to here, right? He can get 2 eyes in here, but this group is not in great shape. And there we go. Now he realizes that, oh shoot, I have to respond and try and connect up, but guess who cuts him off? Now black's trying to play a little bit of recovery, some survival. It's like, all right, by playing in here at P6, we'll get an eye here. But look at that, next play. I'm threatening to go in there. He can't have that because then that puts this group into Atari. Then he's got to connect. All of a sudden, this group's down to no eyes, right? How does he respond? I think he knows it's dead at that point. He just pushes away, puts me in Atari. I connect up. He's trying to battle, trying to get a kill over here, right? I just take him right away. He puts that in Atari, whatever. He can't get an eye down there. He's grasping at straws right now, right? Like he's, all right, maybe I can put this group in Atari, which honestly, not a bad play. Double Atari. He takes, this is interesting. He, back up one here. I put him in Atari. He ignored it. He puts me in Atari. So right now we're each in Atari. I ignore it and put him in Atari. So right now there is 3 Ataris on the table. 1, 2, 3. Any one of us with a play could take any one of those stones. What does black do? And look at why I don't take this. Why I don't save the stone. I let him kill the stone. Because it doesn't matter. Right? Because if he takes that, I can still play here, which puts this stone in Atari. And this group is still completely cut off. It doesn't matter what happens in here. As long as I don't let him get an eye over there, he's not going to sneak out, right? So I let him take that stone. I put that guy into Atari. Right now, actually, a double Atari. This one, which he has to respond to. Otherwise, I'll end up there, cutting him off again. So I'm assuming he takes... Oh, no, he ignores that and pushes out. Interesting. I play a little bit of defense on these, right? Because we can't have him just coming down here and putting me in Atari. So now if he does, it doesn't matter. We just don't want this group to get out. That's what we're playing right now. Right now, this is all just extra kills. Defense, block him in. He tries to come out. Officially blocked in at this point. This group of his only has 2 liberties. I can kill those both with 1 play, and it's still all sealed off. This guy is entrapped. We're talking entrapment. Enraptured entrapment. I don't know if that makes sense. It's fine. He connects up. He still thinks he's maybe got a chance in there, right? I say, no way, Jose. Interesting. I go down there, which gives this group a couple different lives. He's got a... Okay, he plays up here now. Interesting. I don't know if he's fully got this one sorted out, and then I put him in Atari up there. I don't know why we're focusing up here now. And then I completely move away. I just assume, I guess, at this point that this whole group of his is killed off, right? Because what can he do? He can play here and put this group into Atari, but then I play here and connect up. I have 3 liberties. And if that all happens, this group of his is down to 1 liberty, so I kill him off. Unless he attaches, and then he's got 1, 2, 3 liberties. I may have misplayed this, actually. I probably should, instead of playing out here, I probably should have done Maybe here to give this group an extra out. Interesting. Maybe not. Because I can threaten this group at any point, right? Anytime I want, I can play here, and he's down to 1 liberty, he's toast. But if he connects that first, and he plays there, then I have to come out. So that's kind of the order of operations there. So this is, I don't know, we're over here. This isn't really amounting to much of anything. I think this game's basically over at this point. He's saying, yeah, I don't want you to connect this group up. And at that point, I probably, see, he's trying to cut me off. There we go. And now I say, all right, enough of this. You're trying to kill this group of 5. Don't worry about it, because what I'm going to do is kill off your massive group instead. He's down to 1 liberty right there. He still apparently doesn't see it because he tries to kill off my group of 3. And I say, hey, don't forget about this guy. He's dead. I think he resigned at that point. Because that also means that this group is dead too, right? And all of a sudden then, the outline of my white group on this right-hand side of the board is massive. It's all that. It's like a quarter of the board. I killed off a huge chunk of his. Massive kill, massive win. Estimate the score now. Ball is white by 87.7. So that's undeniable. How did it happen? Well, it was a bit of a mess in here, right? This just slowly pushing around those corners, trying to cut him off whenever you could, trying to stop his progression and just stop that sneaky line from just snaking its way across the board, right? You're trying to wrap around. Anytime you can wrap around your opponent and kind of head them off, it's usually a good thing. I mean, every situation is unique, but that's a good sort of strategy to go by. Yeah, so that ended up being a pretty good game. And like I said, off the early part of the game, he was just extending my territory there. He didn't end up really getting much out of that, right? That was like one of the first plays of the game. I got like 30 points or something, and he got like 10. Not even close. Then the same thing happened up here. Stole a whole bunch more points. Gave up the corner for it, but whatever. And then don't forget, too, this is where he threw in behind enemy lines, right? And that didn't pay off for him. Let's quickly go back. What are we at here? 17 minutes. All right, we should wrap this up soon. But let's just take a quick little look. Because this is where I said he jumped in behind enemy lines. So backing up. Here we go. There it is. This is the group that ultimately gets killed off. He jumped in behind enemy lines when he shouldn't have. Like, he's already in a box. I can cut him off here, I can cut him off here, I can cut him off here. He's toast. He jumped in like 2 lines behind the perimeter of my territory, and that ended up losing him the game because it just kept extending and extending, but he was kind of on the run the whole time, right? And I ended up just encircling him, entrapping him. Game over, you dead, is what it is. Anyway, so maybe that's a lesson. Don't just jump in randomly behind enemy territory. That's never good. But try and push around the corners. You want to get those kills. Anyway, that'll do it for today's little speed match. So, we'll see you in the next one. Let's go.